What's up, homies? What's up, homies? What's up, homies? Welcome to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. We pick the brains of industry pros to unlock the trade secrets of homeownership. Our mission is simple: to turn everyday people into knowledgeable homeowners. What's up, homies? I'm Sturdy Joe. Welcome back to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. Here with me today, I got Chris Corcione of Corcione Custom Carpentry. What's up, brother? Welcome to the barn.
Good morning. How's everything?
We're good, man. Good. Thanks for coming in.
I'm Chris Corcione, owner of Corcione Custom Carpentry. Thank you for having me here this morning.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. So, yeah, pleasure coming in. Love it. Other carpenter, boots. You fit right in. This is like a perfect space for a carpenter. So,
yeah, it's awesome in here. You got a lot of cool companies in here, and I'm glad to come in here and talk about it.
Yeah, we got you to the wall. You're very hyped. We got your sign. We brought some stuff in. So, really excited to talk to you. But before we get into it, it's tradition here for you to do a little intro, a little backstory, how we got, from day one to recording a podcast on a Wednesday. So take some time. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, excellent. So I grew up on Long Island. Obviously, I went to high school. In high school, I went in a BOCES program. We actually built a small structure on the campus. So it was like a shed, but it was built like a home. We did a lot of woodworking there and whatnot. So after high school, I decided I like doing this. I like being hands-on and whatnot. So I went to SUNY Delhi. SUNY Delhi is a great school. They have a great opportunities for anyone that wants to become in the trades, be hands-on. So I did a residential carpentry program, learned a bunch of things, all the entry-level things that going on there. So how to frame. We built a house from the ground up. Okay.
So this was in college?
Yeah, this was in college.
So you went to BOCES in high school? Or was the trade program in your high school?
It was in my high school.
Oh, that's really neat. So you guys had a trade shop. You had a wood shop in your high school. You did some good rough framing, all phases of carpentry. So in high school, started using tools. And then you said, we're going to college, because our generation went to college regardless. So you were going to college, went to Delhi.
Yeah,
and you found yourself doing...
Upstate New York.
Yeah, you found yourself doing... Was this like a major? Or was this just classes that you found that you could do the trade stuff in it?
So the major was residential carpentry. There's a different name for it now. So it was basically construction management mixed in with a little bit of hands-on, and that's the reason why I went to that school.
Oh, that's sick.
Because I'm more of a hands-on learner than in the books, studying, all that fun stuff.
Okay, so you went to that school with the intention of doing this
carpentry.
Now, did you know somebody who did it, or did your guidance counselor show you that this was an option? How did you discover that?
So the way it was growing up, my dad was always hands-on.
Nice.
Always fixing things in the house, built my basement.
Old school guy. What did he do for work?
So he's
was he a tradesman?
Excuse me?
Was he a tradesman?
No.
But he still did all his stuff on his house. And
yes.
So that's a similar thing to me. My dad was in logistics deliveries his whole life.
Okay.
But growing up, the recession happens. But my parents still want to fix the house up nice, so my dad was like, we're going to do it. So I'm in middle school, high school, and I'm home every day, and my dad's like, you're going to help me do this. And I remember figuring out, we did a wainscot paneling, and we were figuring out angles together.
Yeah.
Because he was he had the tools, and he was, he was a dude. He knew what he was doing, but he was figuring out on the fly. So I was like, wait, we're going to brainstorm and find this out. So that was my start into it, was just necessity.
I like that.
So you were working with your hands around the house, doing your chores and fixing shit up. And
so my dad, old school guy, always out there. We did all the lawn maintenance on the house.
Yeah.
I always hands-on the house and the projects. But back to SUNY Delhi, I went there. I learned a lot of things. We actually built a home from the foundation up.
That's sick.
So customers, you can call them customers, within a 6-mile radius of the school, we're given the opportunity to build a house, build a structure, a garage.
Almost like a Habitat for Humanity kind of situation,
almost,
but not donation.
The school would set it up with the homeowners. The homeowners would pay for all the materials, and the school would bring on all the students. So, we built 3-car garage from the foundation up, 3-car garage with a loft on top.
That's sick.
We did a porch remodel, holding up the porch roof while reframing the whole porch structure.
This is in college.
Yeah.
That's such, I never knew this existed.
Yeah, SUNY Delhi is a great school.
The thing is, you don't have to go to school. You can go into the trades. You went to school to get into the trades, but like not trade school. Like you went to a college, a state college, to do trade work. Wow, that's really interesting, man. I like that a lot.
So,
all right, so you're in college. You're learning the right way to do things.
Yeah, the right way.
I could only imagine what your professors were like. They were probably like classic, like this old house, like
oh yeah,
those guys, you know. Like,
yeah, definitely. No, that was the vibes around there. We're from Long Island, so we're talking. They're from upstate, a little quieter. They were looking at me like I'm an alien.
Yeah.
But you know what? It all worked out. I learned a lot of things going to that school. And the thing was, I wasn't a school guy. So I was like, I want to get a degree, but I also want to do hands-on. And this is really where I sat. And, you know, I didn't only take carpentry classes. We did architect classes, so we drew, you know, we drew
started
plans.
Using some CAD programs and
we
stuff.
used CAD.
Makes you well-rounded.
And such like that. So we would do 3 hours of on-site projects during the day. So we would go to the home or we go to the shop and learn hands-on things. And then we go back to the school on campus and do classes. So we took an OSHA class, which was great. That was a great benefit. Learned a lot of things from there. You know, finished carpentry class. We did a little masonry class too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned a lot of things. So after that, I went home, graduated college, got my degree, associate's degree in residential carpentry. So from SUNY Delhi. And then I went home. Before I graduated, I was sending out my resume. We built a resume in school, so it was easy for me to leave school and send out applications. So right out of college, I had a job.
For a contractor.
For contracting, but I had to find it out on my own. Up at SUNY Delhi, if you lived up there, they had placement of job. The unions came in, but I wasn't eligible for that because I lived in Long Island, 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't staying up there. So after that, I went out east. I did a lot of finished carpentry. So we did coffered ceilings, raised panel walls, base molding.
Yeah, pretty stuff. Yeah.
Pocket doors.
For these nice houses. So this
beautiful
homes.
Beautiful
you were working
homes.
for a contractor.
Yes,
which is there's a lot. There is like a trade gap right now and a skills gap. But the biggest one that I see is people need very good carpenters, and I feel like there's a big need in it. Because I think traditionally when people go to trade school, they would go for the mechanicals more. You know, they go to HVAC school, they go to electrical school. So I feel like solid lead carpenter is like in really high demand right now.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that you're able to get a solid job and start crushing it out of college.
Well, there's a sad statistic, not to lead off of this, but there's really not many young guys in the trades anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm young myself, and I just want to see more young guys out there hustling, working hard, sweating every day, knowing what the true means of work is, how to get paid, working hard. You know,
so this podcast is actually sponsored by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, and if you haven't heard about it, then you should definitely look into it. I'll send you all the stuff. The Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund was started by a guy named Ryan. He's been on the podcast before. He was a boiler company, turned into an HVAC company, and he still has all these things, and now he's also just a general contractor. Solid dude, and I think he's about 40 years old, and he kept seeing these problems that we're talking about and seeing it himself, hearing people talk about it, and he's like, let's do something about it. So the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund is made to help guide people to alternate career paths that aren't just college-based. So it's, you know, it's very easy to say it's just for the trades, but it's more than that. It's just guys like us and contractors like us and women in the trades and all that coming together to at least extend a hand out to the young person who knows that going and sitting in the classroom for no reason isn't what gets them engaged. And maybe there's something out there that can get them engaged. They don't know what it is, you know. So I'll send you that stuff. But this is actually sponsored by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund because
I love
this is a very recurring theme. I'm in the position I'm in now because I've had a lot of good older people just hold their hand out and be like, you got to do the work, you got to wake up on time, but I'll show you the way. And I'm fortunate for that. And I want to do that, and so do a lot of people. Like, I don't want to give anybody anything besides good info, good tips, guidance, you know. Don't make this mistake. Show up on time, you know, and that's kind of what that is. So we've talked about it a few times, so we'll talk about this after. But
no problem.
There is definitely a big skills gap. So you got formally trained in college, and then out of college, start working for contractors. How many years did you do that out of college?
So for the first few years out of college, I was doing all finished carpentry, like I was telling you. And that really taught me how to work with fine materials.
Yeah.
So when you're doing finished carpentry, you're not pulling a tape measure and going, it's really 3/16, but I'll just cut out a 1/4 inch. No, you have to be on the money, and there's many ways to help you out as far as getting that good accurate point. Sharpened pencils, and these are things that I'm going to go into that really help us trade guys out. But so let me go back into this. I did the carpentry, went to school, did the trim carpentry, and then I said, you know what? I'm doing all these fine construction projects. I don't really know anything else. I'm like, I have framing experience and deck experience from the schooling. We did a little bit of siding there, but I want to learn bathrooms. I want to learn kitchens. I want to learn other aspects of, what carpenters could do. So, after a few years of doing finished carpentry, I said, you know what? I want to learn how to do kitchens and bathrooms. So I worked for another company. We did kitchens, bathrooms, finished basements. So I learned all the steps of all those processes. The importance of waterproofing in bathrooms. That's key. Framing out basements. And, there's one thing that I say to everybody. Nearly anyone can do carpentry. You could throw in a door, you could throw out a window. But the importance is it plumb? Is it level? Is it straight?
Yeah.
Is it going to last for 100 years?
Can you do it good? That's the difference, right?
Is it
Anybody
going
can
to
throw a door
operate right when it's,
I go into a lot of new
after
construction
install?
houses, big pet peeve of mine. Exterior doors, strikers not lining up.
Oh, yeah.
Strikers not line. That's a telltale sign that something ain't right. Either maybe they put it in, and from them opening and closing it, it shifted, but it's been there for 2 months. Why is it shifting already? Like the striker's not lining up, the deadbolt doesn't line up, or I got to pull it to get the deadbolt to shut.
Not
Carpenter,
good.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not good.
Because it's not put in dead nuts. A real carpenter, a sick carpenter, puts things in dead nuts. Like you said, if it's 3/16, that thing's 3/16.
Oh, yeah.
I was a concrete carpenter. If it was 3/16, it could have been 2 inches and 3/16, and it wouldn't have mattered because the type of carpentry I did, it didn't matter. So I would never go in and do
different.
finish work. It's different, and that's where, I think there's a problem in construction where you see somebody with tools on and you're like, oh, my uncle's a contractor. And it's like, not everybody's Bob the Builder. There is so many varying degrees of skill. There's specialties. Like you said, if you just did trim work your whole life, maybe until you got the actual real world experience, but you wouldn't have the next day just started finishing out a bathroom. And I think in construction, a lot of people, that's kind of how they figure it out, is they'll take a job that's way overextended their skill set and they figure it out on the fly, which, that's not the best thing to do. But what you did was good. You went and worked with a company who already had guys who knew what to do, who already had good processes in place from good and bad experiences. So then you can absorb that information before you go out on your own. All right, so you went and worked with a company doing kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah, kitchens, bathrooms, I'll get into all that stuff.
More remodeling, like more wider remodel stuff.
A lot of remodeling, learning how to keep the house protected. It's the little things that go a long way in this industry that a lot of people hop over when you got to focus on it. And, I learned a lot of things from old school guys as well as when I went to school. So, I could do things a few different ways. All right. So if I don't have a certain tool, but I know a trick from an old school guy, I throw that into the mix.
Yep.
And it makes it more versatile.
There typically isn't just one way to do it.
There is never one way.
Sometimes there's only one way to get this done, but you have to pull from all your various experiences. There could be 20 different ways we can go about this. Yeah. Only one of them will work for this scenario. But that's what I've learned, and that's one of the things I love about construction is you can tell when somebody gets kind of stubborn and jaded is when they think that I have the right way and this is the only right way. Like no, that could be the right way in a certain scenario, but we need to keep our eyes open. We need to keep learning. Construction is always about learning better and more efficient ways. And like you said, maybe it only will apply to one time, but you have to pull from your vast experience to make sure. So that's definitely very important. So
I'll be honest with you too. First getting into the trade, I didn't listen all the time,
Young.
Yeah, young starter, I thought I had the best way sometimes, and all of a sudden something clicked and I'm like, let me just close my mouth and listen to what everybody has to offer. And a lot of the time starting out, I had to watch. I was a helper or I was I would just sit there and watch every step, how they held the tool, what angle, how, as a helper starting, how can I give the next guy the tool in a way that they could take it and use it without having to turn the tool around. And this is what, separates everyone from the rest and how you do things. But,
when I was coming up out of high school, got into the Carpenters Union. And you know what you were talking about, how when you're young and you think you know the right way, you get this stubbornness, because I think it's it's part of the character arc. You finally figure something out and you have this confidence, like, I do know the right way. And I think it's just part of it. It's because I remember being
definitely.
like that. And I got humbled by one of my good friends' dads, who was a carpenter his whole life, and he always gave me really good guidance because he had a similar path. Dropped out of college, went into carpentry. And he was like, listen, the most important thing you can do is watch and listen to everybody. And he goes, I don't just mean your foreman and your carpenters nearby. He goes, because I was on a union job site, he's like, watch what the electricians are doing. Watch what the plumbers are doing. Watch what the watch what everybody's doing. And also, if they seem like a nice person, if you could talk to them about football during the coffee break, ask them why they were doing what they were doing with their trade. And then the funniest thing, dude, that's why we're here today, because I can't stop asking people why they do what they do.
I love that.
It's my obsession. And that's why I'm a home inspector, because I'm obsessed with I love to know a little bit about everything, but I don't want to pretend I know it. I think we live in a world of half facts, where I know a little bit of it and I fill in the rest with my own dumb understanding of it. I hate that.
Yeah.
I want you, the professional who does it every day, to tell me the truth. I want it from your perspective. And I'm also going to ask 6 other carpenters the same thing. And we're going to get a good understanding of it. But I got, like I said, very lucky at a young age. He told me to ask everybody what they're doing in the right time. Not in the middle of chaos, but when you have a minute. And I think it was really funny. One of my foremen who grabbed onto me early, who I owe that beginning of my career to, we were doing something, and he was like, just do it this way. And we had time. It was like a slow day, and I was like, why? I was young, so I didn't know how to angle it right. And he was like, because I fucking said so. I was like, no, Steve, my bad. I meant, why did you come up with that way? Because I wanted to do it a different way. I'm going to do it your way, but I want to know why, so next time you don't have to tell me. And he was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. And then he explained it to me, so next time I didn't have to ask. And that's what I like to talk about with the Head Start Fund and everything. Yeah. Is to tell these young guys, don't be afraid to ask questions in the appropriate time. If the concrete's pouring and there's chaos, it's raining, people are screaming, maybe just listen to your boss and don't ask him why with an attitude. But during the coffee break after work, just ask why. Because you know what, it's just another tool in your tool set. So that you made a career doing that too, and that's what gave you your experience.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I always worked. If I could work with 5 different guys, I would, and that's what I did. If I had a slow day, I always kept a good connection with everyone in the trades. I call them, hey, listen, we're in between jobs. Can I hop in for a week? This was, on the grind and the rise of where I am.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And so I would do
filling
that.
Your schedule, working with different crews, learning different things.
I met some people, some of the greatest people out there.
That's cool.
I have to say, to be honest with you. And I've asked them millions of questions. What's the material? What is it made out of? Why would you use it here? All these, and they understood that I wanted to know. I wanted to learn. And honestly, I'm still learning. If someone says in this trade that they know everything about it, when I tell you technology, materials coming out, you don't. And there's one thing that I do that I enjoy doing, but most people don't, is I'm on top of different materials. I'm always going out there. How can I do something smarter? How can I do it more efficiently, but get a great end result?
Yeah.
So I go to trade show events. I'm going to one in March. It's in Providence, Rhode Island. It's called JLC Live.
Nice.
Okay.
Did you ever go to the New York Build one? I think in March there's New York Build that I just
in Brentwood. It's at the Suffolk County.
So I think Libby might do that one, but this one's in Manhattan at the Javits Center.
Okay, yeah, I haven't been to that one yet.
A lot of the energy rating stuff I do has fancy tools and stuff, so they all set up it's a big trade show. So I was gonna go last year and I didn't, but I think I'm gonna go this year. But that's cool. So that's a big way in the trade world. Every niche has trade shows. The energy raters just had one in Arizona, and that's how guys try to stay leading edge. A big way to stay leading edge. If you're in the trades and want to get smarter, going to trade shows that are relevant to what you have going on is a good way to do it. You get a lot of cool free stuff too, right? Isn't there a lot of swag given out? And
yeah.
I know they sell stuff at discounts sometimes too.
So I do have a lot of companies that I work with. We'll jump into that. But just back into what we were talking about with, just doing things right and all that fun stuff. A lot of people just aren't building properly. And I don't blame them, because a lot of people in this trade are going straight from hire to the job site. They're not learning the back technology of what's going on.
Long Island's expensive.
Yeah.
So you got to make money fast.
Yep.
And I think construction has created this time versus money scenario. So when something goes sideways in a project, it's going to cost, it can really cost you money to do the right thing, or you have to have that awkward conversation of, I need to charge the client more, which is now building distrust. So sometimes it's not always a malicious, like, it's just that, like, we're trying to stay on schedule. So construction, big issue, time versus money. So,
well, I'll tell you one thing. This is the thing that I'm noticing in this industry. Communication skills. From homeowners to the owner of the company that's working in their house, there's a big misunderstanding that's going on. You know, Corcione Custom Carpentry, we're talking to the clients directly. You know, we're telling them if we're showing up a little past our normal start time, we're grabbing materials. You know, we stay connected with the customers, and this way they know that we're not leaving them in the dust. If we have to grab materials in the morning that day and it's going to take us an hour,
so
we're going to let them know.
There waiting for you, because even if
people have things going on,
you are updating them as you go. So so just to step back, just to get caught up to where we are, you transitioned from worker to now you have your own company.
Yeah.
When did you make that jump? Like you were doing, so you went from doing finished carpentry, then you working with a bathroom remodeler, and then you decided, all right, you know what, it's time to do my own thing.
So this is really what happened. So I did the finished carpentry, got that down, did the kitchens, bathrooms, finished basements, learned a lot about it. I'm not going to say everything, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what?
Enough to be a journeyman.
I said, I was progressively learning and staying active, and I wasn't actively getting what I thought I deserved, but I was still working with great people. And I said, you know what? If I have these skills and knowledge, I'm not letting it go to waste. Why don't I run my own business, gather all the information I need on that business end, and then maybe we'll get somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I got the skills.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I love talking to homeowners.
Yeah.
I love talking to people at the tool supply shops.
Yeah, which is huge. It's super important. Yeah.
So I'm like, I like doing what I'm doing. I like talking to people. Let's put it together. Let's give this a shot.
Give it a shot.
And you know what? I went nose deep on it.
Yeah.
My dad was like, listen.
You sure? He's like,
no, not even that. My parents always supported me, and they're like, you know what? If you want to do this, do it right.
Nice.
Don't show up there. And my dad always said too, if you're going to do a job, do it with the right tools. Don't even waste your time. Because if you're going to do it right or don't do it at all.
Nice.
So when I brought this idea up to my parents, and I was young at the time, I was 23 years old.
Sweet.
23 years old, went to college, got my experience, and I was like, listen, now it's time to run with this. So, you know, I went out and I got all tools, you know, all that good stuff. Because that's where it all starts with. It's
so from
the
tools.
the
jump, you didn't load up your new truck with Harbor Freight tool stuff. Like you went out.
Oh,
you went out and bought
the proper tools for the right jobs, and I knew that I was going to be specializing in kitchens, bathrooms, finished basements, and all types of custom molding work.
Yeah, and
so
you wanted to have tools on, be on the job site doing the work. Like you do your jobs.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm tool belt on.
Yeah.
I make sure everything's running smooth.
Yeah.
I do installations. And so, you know, Corcione Custom Carpentry, we're not going to talk to you like we're friends in the estimate, and then you show up and we're not there and you get subbed out and you don't even know what's going on in your home.
Yeah. I do think that's a big thing. Not saying that companies can't be general contractors, but I do see it feels like a bait switch. It's like the salesman comes and then the workers come. I'm not saying that you can't run a company, but I do know big contractors where the 40-year carpenter still puts his tool belt on at least an hour a day. You know what I mean? Like these guys are, you know, they've well deserved to take their tool belts off, and they still can't stop themselves because it's just like they're putting their name on it.
It's going to be me one day, definitely.
It's always going to say Corcione on it, so you always got to make sure, like, that doesn't mean you have to lay every piece of tile, you know, in the end. But that means I do see, especially for the size of company and the type of work you're doing, I do see like the huge benefit of is like they want to see you.
Well, listen, you got a lot of guys out there running around doing estimates, They're telling customers that they know how to do certain things. Meanwhile, they don't know how to do it. They're not showing up with the right tools. And they're not doing it the right way, okay? I'm not going to say my way is the best way, because just like anything, there's multiple ways of installing. But, you know...
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you're a business owner. You've worked with various crews. You have a pretty good experience doing it for other people, doing it for yourself. You met a lot of people, right? If you could think of one or a few things in your industry that were held to a higher standard, what are some things you wish just across the board, your competitors, the guys you're talking about that aren't doing the right, what do you wish that they all just did to a higher standard? Like, what are some of those things that you wish?
I love that question. Honestly, we're going to start with the bones of it. It's materials. These guys that are coming in, and listen, I'm not one to say I'm the best, I like this. I have a lot of friends in this industry. You know, I thank Dane Carlson for putting me onto this podcast.
Man, we love
he
Dane.
sat with you before.
Big Dane.
You know, and I have...
This is his paintbrush. I wanted him to sign it. He left without signing it, but that's arrow-worthy, baby.
Yeah. So those are good products, and you know what? I couldn't be here without, you know, people that I know and trusted as well. But, you know...
All right, so we were getting to, before we were geeking out about Dane, things that you wish your competitors and your industry in general held to a higher standard.
Okay, yeah, so materials.
Materials, yeah.
Some guys are coming in, they're doing the job, and they're not using the right materials. So let's jump into bathrooms, because that's something I specialize in. When I'm doing bathrooms, I can go in there and I could use many different materials. So when you're doing a bathroom job, it's important, you know, water is important. It's very important. You're taking a shower, you have gallons of water coming out, either the tub spout or the shower head, all right? That's all funneling into one area going down a drain.
I tell people when I'm doing a home inspection is the bathroom's most important job is to keep the water where it's supposed to be.
Down that drain.
I don't care how pretty it is.
Right out.
Yeah, if the water's going where it's supposed to, that's all that matters. So what you're talking about is that even the most important time to look out for that is at the install. And the difference in the quality of a bathroom install can come down, it really does come down to, obviously the install itself, but the materials you're installing.
Yeah, so
that's a huge difference.
Many people, homeowners I should say, they see the construction going on. They don't really know what's going on. They'll see in the end result if it's a nice, beautiful...
And that's what they're looking to hope for. They're like, I just want at the end to look beautiful.
Their
and obviously
goal,
you want it to look beautiful, but as the home inspector, building science guy, I'll take an ugly bathroom that holds water right versus a pretty bathroom that leaks. Because that pretty bathroom that leaks is only going to last you 5 years.
Yeah, so
you still got blue and pink bathrooms from 1960. You know, that are holding water the right way. They're hideous, but the water isn't leaking. I mean, hopefully, water's not leaking to the wall, causing water out a mess. So you actually brought some of the materials that you're talking about with us too. So if you want to, as you're going through it, you got some good samples here of materials.
I'm definitely going to show you some materials. And so when the homeowner comes in to see the end result job, they're not thinking about what's behind the tiles that they went to the store and selected. You know, they're looking at the finished product. They're like, wow, everything's straight. You know, but they got to realize that there's important materials that you put behind, let's say, a shower wall. So, you know, when we start a bathroom process, you know, we're going in there, we're gutting everything. Everything's coming out, sheetrock's coming out, and now we see insulation, let's say, and the homeowner goes, it doesn't look bad, it's not ripped. That's the number one where I step in and I go, listen, I'm not selling you on this. You could make your own decision no matter how you go.
Yeah.
But everything in a house starts from the bones, the studs right here. Insulation fills the voids. It keeps air from going in and out of your house, you know. So when it's the winter time and now you have old insulation in there and cold air is swooping into your house, your heat bill's going up, your heat's going up. And that's energy efficiency. And I'm big on energy efficiency. That's one thing that
energy efficiency.
Yeah, I'm big on energy efficiency.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took an energy efficiency course in college.
Nice.
We learned all that stuff, and that's where it helps me, you know, come in. So, you know, when we're going in and looking at these bathrooms, you know, energy efficiency, that's my one thing on my mind. That's
so
the
when
first
you got
step.
the bathroom, your first thought isn't like how quick can we get to closing this bathroom up and finishing it. It's how can we do the best product for our client.
That's exactly where we start.
If you open up a bathroom wall and you got silver-faced insulation that it's there and it's kind of neat, but it's R11. The homeowner's not going to know to replace it.
Coming out.
But yeah, you're telling them to replace it. Because my perspective is you have the wall open, you might as well do it. The materials is $100. Like, let's just change it out. You know, like it's so, even if it was $500, like in the grand scheme of things, it's your only opportunity for 20 years to change that insulation.
And again, you know, the homeowner's not thinking cold. They're thinking, wow, nice tiles.
Yeah.
They installed nice tiles.
Yeah.
Now, you know, obviously, since we're on the bathroom topic, everyone has their own way of doing things. Like I said from the start, my way might be the best way, or might not be the quickest way, but you know what? In my opinion, the way I'm doing things is more advanced. It's beneficial. It's better for my human body because I'm not breathing in particles.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, your average guy's going into the estimate, they're writing you up for cement board in the shower. That's your standard. Yeah. Listen, if you're using drywall, there's other ways that you could put a layer over the drywall with the Schluter system. But if you're just doing straight drywall, tiles, and calling it a day, we have a hazardous problem here. We got an issue going on.
Which we like to call, that's flip level work. That's a flip house quality job. And that's what I try. When I do home inspections, when I see a flip house, these are the things that my clients aren't understanding when I'm like, the quality of work can be so vastly different. That's not saying every flip is done this way. But when you look at a wall and you could kind of see like they probably just put tile right over a drywall. Maybe it was the green board, you know, like this is going to be a problem. So that's a whole different thing. We're not even going to get into flips. But all right, so the quality of the materials makes a big difference. And you were getting into shower walls. So
yeah, so shower walls, like I said from the start, it's very important to keep this shower that we're making watertight, and we don't want any water leaving.
Yeah.
So I brought some products with me today. Just going to grab them. I work with multiple brands when I'm installing these products here. It's a waterproof-based material. You can grab onto it.
Grab this one.
So on the top, on both of these materials here, is a waterproof membrane.
So this would be instead of drywall, you would screw this on, or would you screw this over the drywall?
Instead of cement board. We're going to be installing products like this.
Okay. So if we're looking at the wall, we have studs.
Open studs. You're going to have your insulation there.
Yeah.
And we're going to be installing this backer board, you call it.
Okay. So no drywall, just straight to the studs is going to be this backer board.
In the shower areas, yes.
Area
and we're not going to be using cement board. It is a product, and yes, it could be beneficial, but in order to make cement board waterproof, you have to apply 1 to 2 coats of a liquid membrane, such as a Red Guard.
So this is a waterproof membrane already.
Both sides are waterproof membrane already.
Okay, so then you would just have to seal your seams and your screw heads.
Yes.
Which I feel like a lot of people, a lot of maybe lower quality bathroom guys, when they're doing the Wonder Board or the cement board, they just seal the seams and the screw heads. They're not waterproofing. I see a lot of guys now use the full red to waterproof the cement, but I see a lot of bathrooms being redone that they're not waterproofing the cement.
Yeah, so
and cement's porous.
So the guys nowadays are using cement board, thinking it's waterproofed, but the water's still coming through.
Or it's just different type of it, but the same idea?
Yeah, it's a different brand. Obviously, you can see on both materials, both sides are waterproofed.
Okay.
So you have this surface here that's waterproofed as well as this. So if you're cutting it.
And what would you call that? What's like a generic term for that? Like it's a type of backer board? Like this is the type of backer board?
Yeah, this is a backer board. There's different brands that I work with.
Yeah.
I like working with KBRS as well as Go Board. These are 2 great qualities, and there's a reasons why I like working with these, not just for waterproof. Other health reasons. I go in the bathroom, I have to set up outside with cement board. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of dust when you're cutting it with a grinder. If you're cutting it properly with the grinder, you're getting a sharp edge.
Yeah.
Dust is going everywhere. You have to throw on a respirator.
Yeah,
you know, you don't want to breathe in these harmful things that are going to affect you at the end.
Yeah,
you know, the end of the road.
Yeah. So this is a safer product for you as the worker to work with.
Yes.
And it's also a higher performance answer for your client.
Solid core.
So if somebody was doing a bathroom and they wanted to install one of the better waterproofing systems, what would be a common brand that they could ask their bathroom remodeler for? Like what would they ask for with this?
So brands such as Go Board, you got the KBRS, which is another brand, and you have the Schluter system as well.
So Schluter makes a product like that too?
Yes,
okay,
they
cool.
do.
And Schluter makes that orange perforated
Yeah, I'm going to hop into that. But also, I want to go back into this board for a second. Yeah. When I'm using these boards, I can cut it with a knife. I can cut it with a fine tool.
Yeah.
Now, this is why a lot of other contractors aren't using these great products, is because it costs more money.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I'm going into a job, my focus isn't the money going into my pocket. It's how can I give this homeowner my best work with the right materials that's going to last for many years. In college, the one thing they held us up to was we're building for hundreds of years.
Love that.
We're using the right products. You want to work quick, but you want to work smart and efficiently while respecting the tools.
Yeah, that's cool.
A lot of guys go in there, they have other things on their mind. You know, when we're working at Corcione Custom Carpentry, we're focusing on the work. What we have to deliver when we walk through the front door. You know, and that's a strong thing. A lot of guys aren't coming in thinking about what they're doing in your home.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're thinking about what they have to do after work.
Yeah,
we leave all that stuff on the side. We're coming in. It's your home.
Yeah, focusing on
we're
the
going to
job
respect your home, and we're going to use the right materials. So that's why I use this. And back to what we were talking about before, like JLC Live, I go to those events and I learn about all these materials. They have boots, and you learn, and that's what I do. I go and I learn.
Leading edge. Yeah.
I learn the Schluter system. I learn the gold board process. All these waterproof methods in a shower are all different.
So that's a waterproofing method for shower walls. What would you do for like either the shower pan or the bathroom floor? I see we do a lot of bathrooms now with no threshold. So what are some like floor waterproofing systems?
So we're gonna jump into the floor. What I do with the floor is I get custom pre-made shower bases. Now, I would have to say 85 to 90% of people nowadays, old timers, are using a vinyl pan.
Yeah.
Vinyl pans are good if you do them right. Okay? They need to be pre-pitched. Then the vinyl pan goes in. Then you do a mud bed. And I'm going to stop you right there because there's one thing that's done wrong is people aren't waterproofing that cement bed.
Mm-hmm. And cement is porous.
Cement is porous. It needs to be waterproofed.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of times you're going to have people calling up or researching online. Hey, why is there mold in the left corner of my shower? I keep cleaning it. I'm using hard materials.
Yeah.
What's going on? I know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's an improper pitch of a pan. Mm-hmm. Your water's getting underneath that concrete. It's sitting in the corner if it's not level. And now that water's turning into mold. And it's starting to rise, going through the materials, and now you're having mold growth.
So it sounds like so by not using the type of pan that you use, there's a lot more steps to do it the right way, that if somebody skips any one of those steps or does a poor job at any one of those steps, can lead to what we were talking about, the bathroom not lasting as long. So you use a prefabbed pan.
Yeah, so it's made out of aggregate stone.
So
it's mixed up.
Solid.
It's mixed up as if you're making a cake or mixing up a mud.
Yeah.
It's mixed up. It's poured and pitch to the pan. Now, there's many benefits to this. You could put the drain in the center. You can go with a circle drain, round drain. You could put the drain to the left side.
They do those strip drains now.
Strip drains, 2x8 or, 3x,
so you can
12.
customize it to whatever you want. So I think what happens is a lot of homeowners hear prefab pan, and they think of the classic Home Depot special of the actual like fiberglass shower pan that you will see. What you're talking about is then finished over it. I'm tiling, you're tiling on top of this prefabbed pan. So, right, we're not going to see the prefab pan. You're going to see a finished, beautiful shower floor. But I have, when that has come up with people before, they think of that exposed, the shower base that you see. This is not that. This is getting covered with tile, right?
Yeah, so what's going on is once the pan is custom made to the size, so say you have, your standard shower size is 5 feet by 32 inches or within the 30 to 36 range width. And say someone has a small bathroom, they have a 4x4 square walk-in.
Yeah.
I can make you a pan that's going to fit in that area.
So it's fully customizable.
Yes.
Essentially. Yeah.
And what's great is nowadays people don't really want to clean. They don't want to clean much. They don't want many grout joints. Mm-hmm. So one positive effect on these pans are, if you don't want to do tiles on the floor, and say we're going with a marble tile on the walls, you could do a resin epoxy finish on this base.
That's cool.
And you're going to avoid any grout. It's a nice finish, and or you could do tiles on top. You want to do mosaic tiles? It could all be done.
So it's fully customizable. So it's effective at keeping the water where it's supposed to be, and we can make it beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're coming close to the end, and I want to circle back to something you talked about before because you made a key point. about working safely in somebody's home, which I think is very, very important and not typically on a homeowner's mind when they're hiring a contractor. So before we really wrap up, I do want to give you a few minutes to talk about that because that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, so
what does that process look like and what is something somebody should look out for?
So one thing that Corcione Custom Carpentry likes to provide when they do services in your home is job site protection. I'm going into these houses and homes that people call home. Mm-hmm. You know, they're going there after a long day of work or school. They want to sit down and they want to relax, prepare for the next day, eat their dinner. They don't want to go home and start seeing nails, screws, job site objects left on their driveway. Or, you know, old water stains in their hallway leading up to the job site. You know, so the way we like to do things right is we're going to dress up your porch, your stoop, with a drop cloth outside. And as you enter your home, we like using other materials. This is what we like to put down in your home. When we walk in, on your floor is a Trimako Stay Put material.
Yeah, we love Stay Put. Yeah.
Okay, so this material right here
we gotta hit up Trimako. They need to sponsor us because this is this is the third plug we've given them because Dane mentioned it and then we made a reel about it. But that's cool to actually see it in person because that was not what I was expecting. That's sick.
Oh, this is a great product. So I talk to Trimako all the time.
Crazy.
They, you know, they
is
send me
that
over
the
products.
side that's up? The blue side is facing up?
I'm going to get into this. So from your front door to wherever we're working, we're throwing down this blue Trimako product. All right? The reason why I like it is because it's waterproof.
Nice.
We're doing bathrooms, we're doing kitchens, we're doing things where we're taking out water.
Yeah, stuff is
leaking. You leak this on here, on your floor, it's not going past this blue membrane.
Yeah.
On the back side here,
it's soft.
It's like a soft, feel that.
Yeah,
it's
so
sticky.
It's not messing, so that's where it stays put, but it also doesn't scratch
But
up
it's
the
not
floor.
sticky where it leaves a stick on your fingers.
It's just friction, yeah.
So I like putting this down on hardwood floors. Now, the reason why I picked this material is when you have hardwood floors and you're taping, you know, a paperback onto this floor to protect it, a lot of guys are taping onto the finished hardwood floor. And when you peel it up,
I'm pulling it.
That could cost you a lot of money in repairs. So this product right here, it lays down nice, it sticks to the floor, and it lasts from demo day all the way up to the last day when I go to clean up. Another good thing about this is I'm a big safety guy on the job site. I don't want my homeowner walking on a drop cloth and it's slipping out.
Yeah.
Now they fall.
Yeah.
I don't want my workers going in, slipping out, taking a spill. This stays put to the floor and it protects the floor. So, you know, we tape the seams on this. We roll it down. It comes in a roll. We tape the seams, but we don't have the tape touch the wood floor because
tape the seams, but we're not
because it sticks to the floor nicely.
Yeah.
And then when we're done with the project, we roll this product up, and now your home is untouched, it's undamaged, and it's good. And another thing that we like to do is we like to plastic off the home. Now, if we're working in your bathroom, working in your kitchen, we're going to close up the opening. We're going to put plastic, we're going to tape it up nice, and we're going to throw up a zipper. Nice. This way, everything's contained. We dust contain everything.
Yeah, we're isolating the work spot to the work spot, and the rest of the house you can exist in there without dust.
Yeah, and this way, you know, if you want to take a look, you open up the zipper, you go back in, you work. Everything's nice. And I also want to jump into organization. On my job sites, everything's organized. I believe that if you're not organized, then how are you going to know what you have? How are you going to know what materials you have? What materials need to be there? You know, what steps you're going to take to get job site done from start to finish. We do everything in-house, mainly, okay? So when you're working with us, we're going to be doing the right thing for you. We're going to go in there, we're going to respect your home. We're going to make sure that dust isn't going in there. Like I said.
So what I see is if I was comparing contractors for a project, obviously I can look at your portfolio, I can talk to you, but we have a thing like Google now, we have all these different reviews. And if I look you up and we're seeing reviews where they're talking about things like they took care of my home, they were organized, they were neat, those things are actually worth way more in a review than I think people realize, because what I notice is if you install a beautiful shower fixture, and what I think most people think is like contractors throw 30% on top of everything, and I think that is a thing that bothers people. But this is something that you can't upcharge. You're not purchasing this and adding 30% and charging. This is part of, when you hire me, this is what I'm doing. So when a reviewer talks about, this guy took care of my home, treated it like it was his own, he was organized, they were clean, they left the job site every day perfect. Those are things that cost you money. Those are things that cost the contractor money. That is a free value. And those are the varying degrees. On top, listen, beautiful work is beautiful work. I can see that when you post on Instagram. I can look at your portfolio. I can meet you. You can show me all the great things you've done. But those, I think, for a homeowner are some intangibles that can really kind of separate different contractors. If people aren't talking about how neat and organized they are, that makes a big difference.
So yeah, at the end of all our jobs, I become almost friends with a lot of my past customers. And at the end, I offer them, listen, would you be able to help me out? Write a review on what you think your experience was.
Yeah.
A lot of companies outside, they're saying, next job you do, I'll give you a discount. Yeah. Write us a review.
Yeah,
now they're picking for reviews.
Yeah.
When you Google me, you go on my Facebook reviews, my Google reviews, these are real,
it's genuine,
real reviews from the customer. It's not staged. I'm not telling them what to do. You know, if you want to write me a review on what your experience was, I want everyone to have a good experience when they call us up.
I love that.
From start to finish, we just want to do the right thing. We want to make sure our products are coming out nice and also taking care of your home.
I think it's a great note to end on because we're running out of time here. But
can I just show the screws quick?
Yeah, sure.
How,
yeah,
you know, because that's a big thing.
Yeah, take a minute.
All right, 1 minute. Just start ripping it?
Yeah, do it.
So on a product like this, when you're going to install a board, a backer board in your shower, it's important to talk about fasteners. So here we have two separate types of fasteners. When you're installing cement board, you're using a screw like this. Small head on it. You're sinking that head, you sink it too far.
It's not holding nothing.
Tiles weigh a lot.
Yeah.
It could come down. So what we like to use is these backer board finish washers, I guess you can call them. They have spikes on them.
Oh, sick.
It actually sets, into the material.
And it's not going
pretty
nowhere.
simply.
Yeah.
And then you send the screw through, and now it holds the material onto the wall. And like your materials aren't going to be moving or anything.
Yeah, we're even thinking about how the screws are being attached to the wall. So there's next level of, it's an obsession. And I love that. Like I said, this is a place to geek out about what you do. And I love all the little things because that's what is the difference between something lasting a little bit of time or a really long time.
And also, not only do we do bathrooms, we do kitchens. Throughout a kitchen process, the first thing we're doing, we're setting up our laser.
Yeah.
We're shooting all points, taking measurements, setting everything.
Well, you know what we talked about?
We talked
about bathrooms this time, but what we can do too is we can run it back another time because we're two Italian guys who like to talk. So
let's run it again.
We'll run it back and we'll do a kitchen episode because this was about bathrooms. That was perfect.
Yeah, so we'll do a kitchen and maybe a finished carpentry.
Producer Mike's itching over there. So why don't you take a second? Drop your name again, where people could find you if you're on Instagram or whatnot, and then we'll have
Absolutely. It. So you can find us at www.corcionecustomcarpentry.com. You can find us on Instagram at Corcione_custom_carpentry. You could also find us out on TikTok as well. Corcione Custom Carpentry, no spaces.
Awesome.
We're in there. We're going to be posting.
Yeah, and we're going to be reposting.
You're going to be
a
learning,
lot, so everybody's going to see us. So thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you.
You're a great guy,
today,
and I'm glad we were able to get together.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this is the first of many. We'll do this again, and maybe we'll go on a job site and we'll learn about some stuff too.
Whatever you guys want to do, come along.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, stay knowledgeable.